Hey, what's up? I am Chelsea. This is My Coffee, and this is Coffee with Chelsea, a podcast. Today, I have the inspiring and amazing Bob Page from Universal Orlando, and also the Missing Chins Run Club, Zero Quit Attitude. In fact, Bob, look, don't quit for you.
There you go. That's awesome. Love it.
So how are you doing? Thanks for being on my podcast.
Oh, no, it's awesome. I'm, just quiet day today. Day off.
Nice.
Sitting around the house doing nothing.
I got really used to doing nothing around the house because of coronavirus. I started gardening, and I have 3 dogs. So I was hanging out with them all the time. I had a couple of fosters come through. So what about you? Have you mastered the art of being home sometimes?
Yeah, it's I'm okay for the most part, but I kind of just miss people. I didn't think I would, but I kind of really do.
Well, you have such a social job. So Bob is one of the amazing people behind the scenes at Universal. He helps run the radio center. I'm going to tell you, Bob made sure I got on air and sounded good all the way from Orlando to Fort Myers. It was absolutely crazy. And then you do other behind the scenes stuff with Universal?
Yeah, I'm part of the production group. So
Yeah.
there's lots of stuff going on, video shoots and this, that, the other. But yeah, mainly I'm over at the broadcast center. That's my normal Monday through Friday gig.
That's awesome. So wait, do y'all have radio broadcasts going on from the center?
Not right now.
What a bummer.
The parks are open, but all the precautions and stuff, just speaking as a regular person, not as an employee.
Yeah.
I feel so ridiculously safe going there because it's so over the top, everything that they do.
Yeah.
So
I saw the Scooby Gang had it all, had the mask. A friend of mine took her daughter, and as she met the whole Scooby squad or the Mystery Machine squad, and the whole gang with masked up and everything. So, I mean, Universal is doing amazing on taking all these precautions for sure.
Yeah, it really is. I think most places try really hard and they're doing everything they can. And that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
It's a scary time. Nobody really knows for sure. So
I know. And then we saw the sad news of Halloween Horror Nights, which total bummer. I know, but I don't, it's not about harping on this. I want to talk about you and this inspiring journey that you've been on. So Bob went through an amazing weight loss transformation. Bob, tell us a little bit about that.
I've lost about 150 pounds.
Amazing.
Give or take, depending on the day. Some days it's about 144. Some days it's 200 and, about so somewhere about 150 over the last 2.5 years or so. I mean, I was just a fat guy most of my life, morbidly obese. And I went to the doctor. I was about to turn 50, and she just kind of sat me down. She's like, "You're on blood pressure meds, high cholesterol, adult onset diabetes meds." She's like, "You're not going to live a long time if you keep going down this road. You need to make some serious changes."
Scary news to get for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And she's like, "I'll help you. We'll get through this." And that's what we did. We ate less and we moved more.
Yeah. So you started though with running a 5K a day.
So here's kind of what happened is that I knew that we had a vacation planned and we were going to go to Ireland and we were going to do a ton of walking. So before we left, I was like, I'm going to walk at least a mile a day, just walk. Yeah. So that's what I did. And then we went to Ireland. It was amazing. And we came back and I felt like if I'm going to really commit to this and I'm going to lose some weight, that I'm going to commit to a 5K every day.
Wow.
That I'm going to set that time aside for me so that I can work on my health. And that and diet and walking eventually kind of became running. It took almost 7 months before I ran the entire thing.
Wow.
But I ended up doing it for 580 straight days.
That's wild. That is amazing. There had to be days you didn't want to get up and run.
Oh, I didn't want to run today, but I did. Yeah, no, running is one of those addictions. I'm one of those people that my drug of choice was always food.
Yeah.
So I kind of classified as a food addict. So when you have that type of an addictive personality, I mean, some people say it's not, proper to say, but I basically just traded one addiction for another and
Oh
picked
yeah.
up running and trying to be healthy. So at least it's a good addiction as opposed to a bad one, because there are lots of bad ones out there. But it becomes crazy addictive, and even the days you don't want to, you have to, because it's just good for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's only good for your head because you get banged up, and sometimes you get injuries. And I've fallen running because I'm klutzy, and all those things happen along the way. But in the interim, I'm healthier than I've ever been at 52 as an adult. And
Yeah.
that's like, I recently had a kidney stone and went to the emergency room, which is literally the most pain I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, we're going to need to run some extra tests. Your heart rate is super low. Like, it's in the 40s. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I'm a runner, though. I run a lot. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a runner? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. You're just healthy. You're just fit. You have a good heart. Like,
You're just
and
super healthy.
I mean, it didn't go that fast, but realistically, that's about how it went. When I explained how many miles I run and what I do and my diet, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it
So
sounds completely normal. It's just super low.
what's your diet now? How has that changed?
So initially, when I lost all my weight, I did like a pretty low carb diet, just to help drop weight. And eventually, I did get involved with the Missing Chins, and so many of those guys are plant-based, and I'm just watching them all thrive on a plant-based diet. And eventually, I kind of just made the switch.
Yeah.
And went to a plant-based diet, and it's been a little over a year now that I've been doing that. And the amazing thing is, all of my lab work that I go to the doctor for and stuff like that, it's all come back like the best it's ever. Like,
That's
even better
awesome.
than when I initially lost the weight. So, I mean, it works for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a guy who would sit out in the backyard and tend to the smoker for 14 hours just to have a pulled pork sandwich.
And now you're plant-based all the
Yeah,
way.
and I honestly don't miss it. To me, I just don't miss it. Like, I think we've always been creative and cooking
Yeah.
and stuff like that. For the most part, we've just been having a lot of fun this last year or so doing it.
Good. Well, that's really what it's about. It's about like finding food that you like and then having fun with that. And like, honestly, there are amazing vegan restaurants these
Oh,
days. And
yeah.
like the meals that I see, you and some of the guys in the Run Club post, like, I'm like, how do I make that? And, I love eat, I have a steak, I have a burger every once in a while too, but it's really good to get back to plant-based anyway, because we're
Yep.
omnivores. I think sometimes people overdo it with meat to begin with, and you really need those good, healthy vegetables.
Yep. And obviously, like, always, like the for people, like, where do you get your protein, man? Like, I don't know. Do you ever hear of anybody being severely protein deficient? I don't know. I get my protein from the same place your steak gets its protein.
Yeah. Chickpeas, grass.
Yeah, exactly. Plants, so for the most part, I mean, it's never been a problem. And like you said, there's so many options now available.
Yeah.
And like, just eating out and stuff like that. Like, if you tried to do this 10, 15 years ago, it was definitely a lot harder. Definitely.
Yeah, it was like you had potatoes with cheese on it, basically. That was your only option. I had a vegetarian roommate in college, and that was more than 10 years ago. And it was that. She basically ate rice with cheese or potatoes with cheese, a lot of things with cheese. There wasn't many options.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'm making like eggplant parmesan the other day. I mean, definitely go in more of a vegetarian style, because it's like, it's, plus I like to go to the farmer's market and support local farmers. And you get the best vegetables from them,
Yeah.
It's like so nice.
Yeah, and I honestly thought cheese was going to be super hard for me to give up, because I love good sharp cheese and stuff like that. And maybe that was a little bit harder than I wanted it to be, but honestly, we've found so many of the different nut cheeses that are made out of cashews and stuff like that. Like, I made Regagna, nobody would have known.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah, ridiculous. So incredible.
I'm lactose intolerant. So like, if you say this nut cheese is good, Bob, even though I don't know, it sounds fishy.
Yeah,
I'll
nut
try
cheese
it.
just sounds weird. I'm gonna eat some nut cheese. All right, whatever, buddy. Whatever.
It's like, how many drinks have you had tonight, ma'am? Calm it down.
But no, yeah, honestly, I was surprised. And like, and that stuff, like I went plant-based for health. That was my
Yeah,
main goal, for health. And kind of beyond that, like I've always been a sucker for animals, but like I just never really thought about it, never put a lot of thought into it. And I'm not like some crazy hippie vegan guy, but like part of me is like, all right, I'm glad I don't contribute to that anymore. Like I'm not
yeah,
gonna go, you know, get a dog from a puppy mill because I know that those are horrible situations.
absolutely.
So I mean, now I feel kind of like, all right, well, at least I don't contribute to that anymore. Like, and if other people, like when we go out to eat, people are like, do you mind if I get a steak? I'm like, no, dude, get whatever you want. It's your life. You live your life. I'm not super preachy. I'm not super
Good.
weird about it. You know, just you got to do what you got to do. Like it took me till I was 50 to figure out being healthy. So
Yeah.
I took a lot of years off the end of my life right to start. So I'm just trying to put a little bit of that back on because I just
Oh,
don't want to die young. That's
you're
it.
killing it, man. So what's been your most favorite like run that you've done? Most favorite
Wow.
all time.
I loved running the Central Park Loop in New York City. We ran San Francisco Bridge, which was super cool.
Wow.
But honestly, some of my absolute favorite runs, we took a rent trip. We won like a silent auction charity thing, and we won airfare. And it was on JetBlue, and it was a nonstop flight. So basically, it was like, let's go as far as we can on JetBlue nonstop. And that just happened to be Salt Lake City. And we'd never been to Utah before in our lives.
Fun.
So we went to Utah, and just the national parks there are just stunning and amazing. And Capitol Reef, and then running up in the mountains in Park City. That was hands down the best so far. And Canada's beautiful too. We've done some time up around Toronto and Niagara, and it's beautiful up there too. But Utah so far for me is the best.
That is awesome. Well, and then so I think one of the coolest things you've done personally is, well, you and actually the Missing Chins Run Club, the run across the state. I mean, mentally, how?
Yeah, it was not this April, but the April before, we ran across the state of Florida, 205 miles in a little over 24 hours as part of a coast to coast race here in Florida. And I don't know, it's a relay race, so it sounds way more, you know, but essentially you run a little over 3 10Ks. That's what I did. Some guys had a little bit more, some guys had a little bit less in under 24 hours.
That's insane. That's like,
Which it sounds
huge feat.
like, right, but realistically, it's, you know, it's a little bit more than a marathon over 24 hours. So, you know, you go out and you run for a few hours, and then you sit for a lot of hours, and we drive through the middle of the night and follow your runners. And it was more fun than it was hard,
Yeah.
even though we all ran really hard and crazy. And like right now we're doing a virtual run across the state of Tennessee.
So
But
what does that
all,
entail?
that's on you. So it starts in Memphis, and you just,
Where I'm
there's
from.
a whole group, and it just tracks your mileage. I have like 92 miles left, and I will be to the east coast of Tennessee.
Oh,
It started May
wow.
1st, and you have till October 31st, but I will finish ahead of that.
Bob, you're an amazing human being. The fact that you're running across states at 52 years old, like you know, you go to different places and you run them. I go to places and I bar crawl them with all the craft
Yeah.
breweries. So
Yep.
I'm just saying, I mean, I'm at least walking. I do walk between the breweries. So be proud of me there.
Honestly, that was kind of our life. My wife and I talk about it. It's like we would go someplace and we'd plan the whole trip around food.
Yes.
Where are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? Oh, what's their specialty? What do they have? Well, this restaurant's better than that restaurant, blah, 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 you know, and the whole trip's we plan around food. And now, well, now that I've gone plant-based, it's kind of a little bit planned around food a little bit, but not nearly the same. It's more planned around activities and where can we go and get outside and do stuff.
Awesome. So how's the vibe going on in Orlando? Like, is everyone, you know, coming out of the COVID openings? I know at Universal, they're slowly opening up, which is really nice. But otherwise, just in like Orlando vibe, I mean, how's it, here in Fort Myers, we're like 50-50. Some people are taking it very seriously and like wear their mask everywhere. And I mean, like I wear my mask everywhere. And then some
Me
people
too.
are like, you go to like the farmer's market and they're like, let me tell you why this mask is a bad idea. And I'm like, okay, homie, calm it down.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many places are similar. I'm sure there are some extreme pockets here and there, but for the most part, when you go out, you see most people are trying to follow the guidelines, trying to wear the mask, do what they can while they're out. And some people just don't. I think that's just going to be the way it is. It's just very, even, it doesn't matter what you think. This is what I feel anyway. It doesn't matter what you think. Like, it's just polite to just follow the guidelines, because what if it is true? Do you want to be the one that gave it to somebody even though you were asymptomatic? So,
both my neighbors
I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Both of them, my neighbors, they had it, they were sick, they were down. I brought them some pasta and everything. So, once you actually like see people around you and close to you, like getting it, you're like, it kind of makes you think, no, this is real. I probably do need to like wear a mask. Cause I mean, my thing is I don't want to be sick for 2 weeks and not be able to go anywhere.
No, we have very close people that are close to us that really went through it. We're in the hospital.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. So sorry.
Almost on a ventilator type deal, like laying on their belly with 100% oxygen, for 2+ weeks. And they're home now and doing better. And boy, are we grateful, but wow, it was a close call.
Yeah. Well,
so yeah, I mean, for us, it was very real.
It's real. Yeah. No, that I'm so glad they're okay. I mean, I'm still, more people are starting to like get stories like that and understand it. Yeah. And I think it's good because it's allowing for compassion and empathy for your mankind, which I think sometimes we get a little lost in. And I think it's a very good thing to practice, just being empathetic and a little bit compassionate for your neighbor. So, well, Bob, thanks so much for speaking with me. I appreciate it. So, you're such a motivational person. I need you to give me some like zero quit attitude motivation for like people who are, like down because of COVID, or like they're just kind of like out of work. And
so personally, for me, is like, you hear a lot of people like, oh, I do this for my kids. I need to do this for my, no, you really need to do it for you, because if you're not there, you're not going to be able to take care of your kids. You're not going to be able to take care of your partner. All that stuff ends for you and for them with you. So it needs to be about you. You got to just figure that out. And it's a mental thing. It's just either going to click in your head that I'm going to make a choice to do something good for myself today. Whether that be eating a little bit less, eating a smaller portion, eating healthier, going for a good walk. You just got to start. It literally, that's it. You just have to start. You just pick a point and go, from this point forward, I'm going to do this. That's all I'm going to do. But like, if you want some serious inspiration and motivation, just hunt down the Missing Chins on Facebook. It's a public group now. It started out as a private group, just guys, because it was just a place for fat guys to talk about fat things and not wanting to be fat anymore and how to get skinny. But now we figured that we have a formula and kind of a success that works, and it just we say it all the time, results are typical. So if you're willing to put in some work and do some stuff, just find the Missing Chins on Facebook. It's a public group, and if you have questions, that's a great place to go. And we have a podcast. If you like, missingchinspodcast.com, you can hunt that down as well. There's a bunch of episodes. We've kind of taken a little COVID break, just because it's tough for us to get together and still be able to do it, because me and another guy do it together. But there's some like I think of myself like, wow, I've lost 150 pounds. Like, within our group of the Missing Chins, there's probably 100 guys who've lost well over 100 pounds. That's and amazing. Some of those guys, like, I run a lot. Some of those guys have done ultra marathons, like 100-mile races.
Amazing.
I'm just a regular guy who lost some weight and is trying to be healthy. And if I can help anybody, we want to do it. Nobody's making any money on this. Nobody's even trying to make money on this. It's just like, we're just decent people that just want to see people live healthy lives. And because once you do, it just, you turn the corner and you see things differently.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Bob. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's it. I'm going to run tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to take the dogs on a walk. We'll start with
You got to
walking.
start.
Got to start. I love it. Zero
Post
quit
on
attitude.
social media, be held accountable.
All right. I will message you tomorrow and be like, I took the dogs on a walk. I promise.
I expect to be tagged.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in.
So good to talk to you.
I am Chelsea. This is my coffee. This has been my friend Bob, and this has been Coffee with Chelsea, a podcast.